President Trump praising the positive impact of his tariffs on imported steel from places like China, telling workers in Illinois that idle factories throughout this country are now roaring back to life. This as the U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer was pushing back against radical Dems who actually questioned the president's policies on trade and tariffs.
If your conclusion is that China taking over all of our technology and the future of our children is a stupid fight, then you are right. We should capitulate. My view is that's how we got where we are. So I don't think it's a stupid fight. I don't know a single person that's read this report that think it's a stupid fight to say China should not be able to come in and steal the future of American industry. To me, it doesn't make any sense.
Robert Lighthizer, good for you, good for America that President Trump has put such talent and passion in responsible leadership roles. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. The chief executive officer of Qualcomm blaming trade tensions with China. Listen up, Qualcomm. Your CEO needs a history lesson, needs a business lesson, and needs a lesson in economics and politics for the failed acquisitions deal with NXT. Steve Mallenkoff's company, well, it wanted to buy the Dutch-owned NXP for $44 billion, but failed to get the final green light from Chinese officials. Treasury Secretary Mnuchin said it was unfortunate that China got in the way of the deal. The fact of the matter is, China gets in the way of a lot of things, and the CEO of Qualcomm really does need a little perspective. Joining us now, retired four-star general, Fox Business chief strategic analyst, General Jack Keane. General, great to have you with us.
Good to be here, Lou.
Isn't it great to see a trade representative with that kind of passion and that kind of understanding of economics and the impact of trade, trade deficits, imbalanced trade globally?
Yeah, when you take Lighthizer and compare and hook him up with Navarro, who wrote the defining books about what China is doing to us, they're like a killer app, the two of those guys. It's really quite remarkable.
By China. And why this president? You know, what I often wonder, if he had not run, what would we be doing right now? We would be bleeding. We wouldn't be talking about exciting and large numbers for GDP growth. We'd be talking about the prospects, if not the current reality of a recession. We would be talking about a business community, industry in this country that would be reeling from anti-business policies, high taxes. It's extraordinary.
And we wouldn't be doing the Trump military buildup, which is comparable to the Reagan buildup.
Right. It's exactly right. And those who want to fight with this president over, and by the way, one of the, you know, I won't go into all of the details on the fight, but President Trump, with the guts and the foresight, the vision and the intellect to understand the importance of a strong economy as the foundation of that strong military and to be achieving it. And then I look at these Lilliputians running around criticizing him at the margin. But we have to, you know, that's the nice part about a democracy. Even Lilliputians get to vote.
Yeah.
So your thoughts on one of the things that we aren't hearing a lot about? Iran has suddenly disappeared from the headlines.
The Trump team, led by the president, and our viewers should know that this country's foreign policy and national security are absolutely driven by him. I talked to some of the guys around him, and every one of them says the same thing. He's bringing an end to Iran's aggressive, malign behavior in the Middle East. He's going to shut this down. They have made up their minds to do this. Economically, they're squeezing them. They're going to put more sanctions on here next month, and then 3 months later, more than that, they'll get the Europeans to pull away from Iran, even though they're saying they're not. The difference between a $400 billion economy, do business with Iran, or a $20 trillion economy, do business with America. He's not going to let them do both. But also, we're working behind the scenes inside that country with our intelligence services, because those people there are prime to be in the streets and wanting to take this regime down. It's not going to happen overnight, but the civil unrest is spreading and growing throughout the country. And here's the other thing they're going to do. They're working right now as we speak to put together a political and military alliance in the Middle East comparable to NATO, whose single purpose will be to stand up and counter Iran. Now, compare what I'm just saying to the last 8 years where the administration appeased the Iranians, disengaged from the Middle East, encourage their aggressive and malign behavior.
And to think this president has awakened not only industry and commerce and business in this country, as well as the markets and capital, but he is reminding the entire nation, and by the way, our allies and our enemies alike, that this is still the superpower. And we will not be dismissed and we will not be denigrated by those who would, well, prefer to play community organizer rather than become presidents. It's an extraordinary moment in history, and it's to the credit of President Donald J. Trump.
And the country is so much stronger for it. That's
Already.
the reality.
Already. I mean, some days it's hard to believe he hasn't been in office even 2 years when you look at all of the achievements. Great to have you with us, General.
Good talking to you, Lou.
General Jack Keane.